What's up, everybody? It's your boy JP, back again with another video. And today I have the OnePlus Nord 2. And I've had this phone now for, I'd say about 3 weeks now. Definitely been meaning to push this video out. I touched on that if you watched my Motorola Edge 2021 video. I had gotten that so early that I wanted to go ahead and push that video out first, since no one else had one. But in that video, I did talk about how I had this phone, and I also have the Pogo X3 GT that I needed to do videos on. There's a lot of good things about this phone. First, is the 8 gigabyte model with 128 gigs of internal storage, no micro SD expansion. Of course, to me, that's, I like my SD expansion, so that's kind of whack to me. But, more and more phones don't have it anyway, so I can't exactly knock it. But it does have the all-new MediaTek Dimensity 1200 AI octa-core chipset. It's not just a Dimensity 1200 like what I had in the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition. I have a video to that, and that has the Dimensity. That has the Dimensity 1200. I actually had somebody in my Motorola video ask me about the Dimensity 1200, and I already have a video of a phone with that processor, and that's the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition. I would like to get the global variant, the Pogo F3 GT, not the X3 GT, which I do have, but the F3 GT. But it's not really available globally. It's really just available for the Indian market, which, has, a global ROM, but it's just really hard to come by at a decent price. But anyways, I was very impressed with the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 in the gaming edition Redmi K40. This is a new variant, the 1200 AI. I guess it's kind of in a way a 1200 plus. MediaTek did do a Dimensity 1000 plus last year. They had a Dimensity 1000, and later on they had the 1000 plus. The 1200 AI is, kind of like a 1200 plus, I guess would, say. Fun little fact here. A lot of people are talking about how this is the first OnePlus phone to not have a Qualcomm chipset. The original OnePlus Nord that ended up using the Snapdragon 765 chipset was originally slated and rumored months before it came out, even before the OnePlus 8 last year, to have the Dimensity 1000L chipset. And the Dimensity 1000L was a lower powered Dimensity 1000. And I guess for whatever reason, they decided to stick the Snapdragon 765 in there instead, which was actually, way less powerful. So the original Nord could have been a lot more powerful than what it ended up being. I would have actually have liked to have seen it with the Dimensity 1000L. But then again, I think at the time, OnePlus was not just worried about its fans that preferred the Qualcomm chipsets. I don't. I like them both. MediaTek has surprised me more times than not. They've surprised me more than Qualcomm has. I find that the only lineup of chips that Qualcomm actually beats MediaTek at is the high-end flagships. Your Snapdragon 800 series. I mean, other than that, MediaTek beats them at any other range, upper mid-range, lower mid-range, budget, what have you. And even with the flagships, I honestly think that the price that a lot of MediaTek flagship powered phones go for compared to the Qualcomm equivalents, they go for so much cheaper that I'm okay with the little less, how little less powerful they end up being, because it's really not that big of a difference. Right here, prime example, Dimensity 1200 AI chipset. There's nothing that the Snapdragon 888 can do that this chipset can't do. Okay. Will it benchmark as high as the 888? It won't. But it does benchmark higher than the 870. Now, there are some benchmarks that there are some times where the 870 will benchmark more. They're really neck and neck, to be honest. But the 1200, and I'm not even just talking about the 1200 AI found here, but just the regular 1200 Dimensity in general is an overall better processor than the 870. It actually matches the 888 in almost anyways in terms of cores, like the way that the cores are built. It is a 6 nanometer instead of a 5, but it's also not a 7 nanometer like the 870 Snapdragon. Like the Snapdragon 888, its performance cores are of Cortex A78 technology, not A77 like the Snapdragon 870. It just doesn't have that Cortex X1 CPU. You know, it doesn't have a 1-3-4 cluster. It's just a 4 and 4. And, you know, the low-powered ones are Cortex A55s, as you would expect, and then the other 4 are all Cortex A78. Whereas with the Snapdragon 888 and 888 Plus, you have 3 Cortex A78s, and then you have that one Cortex X1. But you know, bear in mind, the Snapdragon 870, which is just an 865 Plus Plus, or as I like to call it, an 865 Plus Pro or Pro Plus, however you want to say, whatever. You know, that is, you know, those are Cortex A77s. So they're not even 78s. And, you know, you don't have the X1 there either. You know, you know, Qualcomm obviously just, they're better optimized, I would say, which is why they score so well, even though the specs don't always match the scores, oddly enough. I think a lot of that has to do with optimization. But they've also been doing it a lot longer than MediaTek. And for clarification as well, MediaTek is not just a Chinese company. They are actually Taiwanese. So, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know if any of y'all are into like Chinese motorcycles, because they seem to always be a lot cheaper than, you know, their American equivalents or the equivalents that are sold in the United States, I should say. Not necessarily American made, but, you know, some of those really good ones are actually from Taiwan, not China. And a lot of your Honda motorcycles are built in Taiwan. So, you know, just to kind of, I know those are two completely different subjects, but I just wanted to throw that out there just for a minute there. This is supposed to be the first phone that actually merges Oxygen OS and Color OS. I've given my opinion on that a couple of times, especially in my Realme GT video. Color OS is just fine. It's not like Vivo's Fun Touch. Color OS is very stockish itself, not quite as stockish as Oxygen OS. But again, Oxygen OS has been going kind of on the bubbly side itself since the OnePlus 8 last year. So, I mean, it's not like I didn't already see it coming. They were already very much, you know, alike, you know, a year and a half ago when the OnePlus 8 came out. So, you know, this was something that they already had planned. But Color OS is just, it just adds more features to, you know, which Oxygen OS already does. It just adds more features to stock Android. Color OS just has more than Oxygen OS. And not all of it is as useful, but it has all of the useful stuff, I would think, that Oxygen OS is known for. And honestly, here, I still don't really see the Color OS. If I compare this with the Realme GT, they said that this is a merger of the two. If this is the merger of the two, then this is the way going forward, you're going to be just fine. If you have anything against Color OS and you're worried, because this phone is the UI to me is no different than the last OnePlus phone I used, which was the made for America, the Nord N200 5G that I had actually gotten free from Metro by T-Mobile. The UIs are exactly the same. I mean, so if this is the merger between, you know, Oxygen and Color OS, then, you know, who knows? Maybe your next Realme GT will have an OS more like this. I don't know, but I didn't have anything against Color OS either. It's BBK's other brand, Vivo Fun Touch OS. That's what you really don't want. That is a UI that's just slathered on there. You know, that's the one that has the most dramatic effect. But I've used it before, and it was pretty horrendous. But anyways, man, this is a beautifully built phone. I love the feel of it. I love the color there. There's your Type-C there. Sorry, that's having focusing issues here, y'all. But give me a second. Don't know what's going on here. But you got your alert slider, which I love. That's one thing I do have to say. I don't use OnePlus phones like I used to, but I do love that alert slider. It's your other side there. And it does have an in-display fingerprint sensor, and it also has a facial recognition, and both work fantastic, always on display. Of course, it's not going to work when I try to do it on camera. It's always like that. It does work on the always display as well. I just couldn't do it with the camera there. Just having technical difficulties, but it is a rock solid phone. It doesn't have band N5 listed for 5G AT&T, but it does work on 5G AT&T. The OnePlus phones, there's a trick to it. It doesn't just work automatically like a lot of the foreign Xiaomi phones do. And this was something I had to do as well with the Realme GT, I think, as well. I didn't mean to repeat myself there, but you have to kind of use Force LTE. And if you use the second app right here, Method 2, Android 11, and then you can just go down here and you would select, I'm trying to think which one it was. I don't have my SIM card in here right now, so it's not really going to do much to show you. But you're going to want to select that option right there, NR, LTE, TDS, CDMA, GSM, WCDMA. You're going to want to select that right there, and that'll get 5G working on AT&T, just for future reference there. You have your Warp Charge 65. You get your case there with some of the reading material, and back of the box. Back of the box there. Nothing special. Just a bunch of labels. Gaming has been fantastic on this phone. Again, this phone is better than the OnePlus 9R. Now, as far as the standard 9 and 9 Pro that are rocking the Snapdragon 888. I honestly would still say this is a better phone because it's like half the price. So it's half the price of the standard 9 and 9 Pro. It's $100 or $2 less than the 9R, which has the 870 Snapdragon in it. Depending on where you shop, you can get this for $100 or $2 less. I would definitely choose this over the R. As far as the standard and the Pro, it's kind of a preference. If you're Team Qualcomm, then of course you're gonna pick those anyways. You'll probably also pick the 9R over this. But man, I've had many years of experience now with MediaTek. The Helios, which is when I really started getting impressed by them, and then the Dimensities, which were just 5G versions of the Helios. I would say, because OnePlus is. Or not OnePlus, MediaTek's 5G modem is kind of took over the Helio name anyways. The Helio M70, which is the latest 5G modem from them. But honestly, OnePlus made the right call, given this the Dimensity 1200 AI. This phone is blazing fast. There's nothing that it can't do that the 888 can. I wouldn't. People worry too much about MediaTek. Their biggest gripe is that they don't release source codes. But, let's be honest. Do you know how many polls a year I see where some of these Android news sites, they ask, do you still mod your phones? Do you still add custom firmwares? And more and more, the more and more I see those posts, I see people saying, no, they don't do it anymore. They did 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. They don't do it anymore. They find that there's no reason to. And these are people who used to, like myself. So if you're part of that crowd, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm having extreme focusing issues here. But yeah. Don't know what is going on here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here soon, anyways. Just not just because of the focusing issues, but I'm pretty much nearing it anyways. At this point, I just ramble on. But yeah, I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. If y'all have any questions, just hit me up. Like I said, man, like I said, if you're a OnePlus fan, don't sleep on this phone. Seriously, don't get the whole Qualcomm, the whole holy grail, the Qualcomm, and MediaTek is Chinese, and they don't release source code, blah 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 blah. Give that a rest. Most of y'all ain't doing nothing with the firmwares and the ROMs anyways. So I mean, who cares? They're not tracking you or nothing like that. It's a lot of y'all watch too much. A lot of y'all watch too much TV. I'm not saying I don't believe in certain things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just not. I'm not the most superstitious person either. There's a lot of things I don't believe in, but there's a few things I do. But I think a lot of people are just they think too much and they see too much on TV. Y'all. I'm not trying to hear all that. This phone is what's up, especially if you're still big on OnePlus, if you're a big OnePlus fan, don't sleep on it. It's a fantastic phone. Y'all can get it from wirelessplace.com. They have it for like $415, I think. And, it's definitely worth that price. I think I paid closer to $5, I think. No. Yeah, I did. I paid like $480 or something like that. And it was worth that, I thought. And that was about a month ago when I paid that. But, anyways, yeah, y'all check out wirelessplace.com. $415, man, you can't beat it. Last time I checked, it was actually sold out. But keep in touch with him. Let him know you want one. If it's sold out, he'll get more. He's really good about that. He always answers his emails. Wireless Place was somebody that I actually, Jay Will started saying a lot of good things about him a couple years ago. And I had saved him in my bookmarks, and I didn't even start using him really until about 6 or 7 months ago. But he really is that good. But anyways, I will check y'all in the next video. Peace out.